All right, ladies and gentlemen, total, absolute pandemonium. This is the big run. This is the big run that we have been waiting for. I get asked all the time, Christopher, when are the millions coming? When am I going to make my first $1,000,000? You're going to do it in this bull market that we're in right now. And here's the good news. It's just gotten started. This is the beginning. This is the first inning of the secular crypto bull market, well on our way to Bitcoin 100K plus. And many of the altcoins in your portfolio, because I know you've been paying attention at school, are about to 100x, if not 1000x, in the coming days, weeks, and months. Want to do a huge shout out again to the Island Project community, everybody at my school, everybody tuning in. You know who you are. You know, I'm constantly asked, Christopher, I'm going to teach you in this video today. I'm going to give away a lot for free, so make sure to like and share this. I'm going to give you some big tips on how to make your first $1,000,000 this year in 2024. Now, keep this in mind. This is during hyperinflation. This is during economic collapse. This is during World War III. This is during political chaos as we're approaching the election here in 2024. Trump versus Biden. This is why actually this is all happening. This is what you need to understand. You know, people have asked me for years, Christopher, how did you know about Bitcoin so early? How did you know about blockchain? You got in so early when it wasn't obvious, when everyone was saying it was a scam, when everybody said not to buy it. Well, I knew because I'm following geopolitics every single day. It really is my job. I'm producing content. I'm producing media for you. And I was able to see years and years ago, decades and decades ago, that this was the pathway and the road that governments around the world were actually going to integrate into. And that's what a lot of you maybe didn't see in the early days, is you thought, oh, you know, governments won't allow this. Well, I actually saw the exact opposite. It's actually what the governments wanted. This is what they would be pushing us into. And now you're seeing the rollout, of course, of CBDCs and digital dollar reset and the Great Reset. We lived through the lockdowns, and you're seeing how all the wealth was transferred to the elites. I mean, I'll give you a case in point. I was looking at a condo I just closed here in Maui Booyah. Property number 3. And I was looking at another place yesterday. I'm hunting now for property 4. And I'm asking the seller, like, okay, what's the story on this particular unit? Who owns it? How much did they pay for it? I just want to give you an example. This gentleman, and God bless him, man, amazing, bought this particular unit I was looking at yesterday for $1.3 million. It's right on the ocean. It's a 2,000 square foot, 2-bedroom, 3 full baths, 2 levels, right on the ocean, right on the beach. I want you to keep this in mind. Bought it for $1.3 million during the lockdowns in 2021. It's now on the market for $3.3 million. So the guy more than doubled his money just in like 12, 18 months. Why is this happening? Is this a bubble? No, it's not, because we are in a hyperinflationary, pre-engineered collapse by the elites. This is what they want. They don't want you to own anything. It's why I designed islandproject.com. And I'm going to get into cryptos here in a minute. So what we have is a price adjustment based on a deflating US dollar that's not worth anything. And that's what's going on across the country right now. Because the dollar's worthless, because it's a scam, like I've been educating you guys for decades now, and you'd be rich if you listen to me. I mean, really though, if you bought Bitcoin years ago, you're rich now. If you've bought, my products, if you've enrolled at school, if you're a member of Island Project, you're getting rich. Because my advice, I have to say it's not financial advice, but my opinion rather, and the companies that I've built are hugely successful because we've been right on target of what the elites are going to do. You know, I learned this a long time ago. It was like, well, if I'm not coming up with the solution and helping people and empowering them and giving them tools, and what am I doing? I'm just a media person, and that doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense to know what's coming and then not profit from it, right? Like, if you're smart enough to figure it out, you understand the elites' game. You understand how they're screwing global populations. You know their next move, like I do. I predicted the lockdowns. I told you you'd all be locked in your house, 2020. I said they would put the masks on and do all those things. Can't really talk about it, as you guys know. Like, if you know what they're going to do, my advice is to pivot, leverage, and profit and be smart. Take advantage of it and leverage yourself because you know what's going to happen next. So this is really, really crazy. March 2nd, 2024. So not all of you are going to make it. Let's just be honest here. Not all of you are going to make it because you failed to act. You haven't taken action. You don't believe in yourself. You haven't bet on yourself. You're not growing your cash flows. You're not saving money and you're not investing. So you're not going to make it. And that's what the elites are counting on because the elites have universal basic income planned for all of America, all of Europe, and all of westernized civilization. They're going to collapse it and allow the BRICS nations now to take charge. So I'm just being bluntly honest that unless you onboard now, you're not going to make it. Unless you're figuring this out now, you're not going to make it because this is happening right now. And I want you to go pull up the charts today and take a look even while I'm on camera. Maybe you've got an extra cell phone or something. Check the price of Bitcoin. It's about to break 100K, guys. Check the price of Ethereum. Check the price of XRP. Check the price of my number one pick, XTZ. That's Tasos, tell you Bezos, up 40% in this week. I've been posting a bunch of testimonials. By the way, it's still early. That's nothing. You haven't seen anything yet. We're about to 1,000x in XTZ. This is the most undervalued play in crypto, which is why I've been telling you about it. Remember when I did the emergency video several weeks ago? I was like hanging out in a chair. I think I had a margarita or something. I'm just chilling. And I told you, last chance to onboard. Well, I'm telling you again, last chance to onboard. You're going to miss this stuff. You're going to miss this stuff. Don't miss it. And so what I'm expecting in the next several days, weeks, and months, as we're now in Altseason. Altseason's now, like we just started. And we're leading into the Bitcoin halving, which is in April. So I want you to keep this in mind. We haven't even had the halving yet. If you don't know what the halving is, every 4 years, Bitcoin mining rewards get cut in half to create deflation on the supply of Bitcoin and what is known as a scarcity principle. That's something the US dollar doesn't have. You see, the US dollar is a $2 hooker prostitute that they're printing into infinity from nothing, backed by nothing, that only funds wars, creates hyperinflation, and hurts you tuning in. And that's why a lot of people in America are broke. They don't have any money. They can't afford housing. They can't afford rent. They're paying 2-3x what food used to cost several years ago. It's why they have less freedom. It's because of the central bank and the Federal Reserve, and it's about the bailouts and everything that they've done in recent years. It's all been an engineered, pre-planned inside job wealth transfer, and it should make you very angry. You should be so pissed off into dramatic action today that you've had enough, and you're going to put your foot down and actually start planning for your own future. Because again, no amount of content or media that I produce for you guys, political media or even geopolitical media, is going to matter at all unless you're getting ready and you're prepared. All the elites are buying real assets. All the elites are preparing for the reset. But the American people somehow don't think it's going to take place. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. Every billionaire, every Zuckerberg oligarch, every Bezos, all these guys, every Peter Thiel, Sam Altman. I tell you guys these stories all the time. Sam Altman rented one of my Jeeps several years ago. This is before he was even famous. I know the projects this guy's been working on for years. He's a huge prepper. He's a huge doomsday prepper, guys. All these guys are. Him and his buddy, Peter Thiel. They've got a huge property in Big Sur. They've got bug outs going all out into New Zealand. I mean, they've been getting ready for years. I've just been telling you the truth for like decades now. Telling you to prepare, telling you to get rich in Bitcoin, telling you to pivot, leverage, and profit. And now everyone's asking me because it's playing out, right? Because I just happen to be right? Just a coincidence that I'm right over and over again. And I'm not saying, that I can't get things wrong or anything like that. But I'm pointing out, now everybody's starting to realize what I've been saying has been the truth. Now people are freaked out. They're freaked out because they tune into CNBC, they see Bitcoin pumping, they see BlackRock buying it, they see everybody that they supposedly looked up to wrong. They have now laid witness to the fact that they've been given negligent, terrible, bad financial advice from everybody, from Jim Cramer to Jamie Dimon, who hosed you with bailouts in 2008-09. I told you the truth. People like Dave Ramsey that called you stupid. That's a direct quote. He called you stupid for buying Bitcoin years ago when I bought it. Now we're all rich. I want you to keep this in mind. I'm telling you guys the hardcore truth. So what's going to happen next is I believe that this will be the biggest bull run we've ever been in. And it's already started. You're already late to the game. That's why you really need to put your pedal to the metal now, guys. I encourage you, if you're not at my school, I'll add a link here in a moment at islandprojectclub.com, and I can accelerate your learning, especially with a quick phone call, 15 minutes, 15 of you can get into that, islandprojectclub.com, and I'll tell you what to buy, how to construct your portfolio, how to profit, when to sell. Okay, that's going to be important too. There's going to be a lot of very, very greedy people because it's going to be total pandemonium. I'm telling you that many of you will make your first $1 million+ your first deca million or more in the next few months. That's how insane it's going to be. Like, remember when the .com, I was young, so I didn't have a chance. I'm excited about this now because I'm old enough now where I'm in front of this wave. Like, remember when the .coms hit and they all pumped like 1,000x and they could launch like petco.com and it would be trading at billions of dollars worth of valuation? That's how crazy it's about to get, but worse. I mean, you're going to have taxi drivers, you're going to have hotel staff, nothing wrong with any of those positions, general laborers, like those are the good jobs, a lot of them. I mean, my guys in construction make tons of money, by the way. You know, they never went to college. College is trash. But my point is, everyone's going to be talking about it. Like, I guarantee you I'll be hanging out on the beaches in the next few months and people will be telling, I'll be overhearing people, oh, I just made 100K on this, coin, and I made $1 million in this coin. That'll be the time we'll be selling. And I'll let you know about it when the time is. But we have a long time now to play out in 2024 where it's basically just going to be up only, which means you need your portfolio ready. You need your positions ready. You need to be adding to your positions, and you also need to know when to sell. What's the easiest way you can make $1 million in 2024? Island Project. This is the easiest way that you, tuning in, can make $1 million+ this year, easily, with simply a $30,000 minimum investment, and you should be investing more. The easiest 1,000x is this, and I'll tell you why. Because 30K minimum and 30 units in islandproject.com with a minimum of just a paltry 30x in 2024 will make you a millionaire this year. When we tokenize, I have to say not financial advice. I can't, predict future returns. I have to say that, read my terms and disclaimers, yada, 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 see if you qualify. I have to disclose that. But that is the easiest way, guys, to make your first $1 million in 2024. And you should be calling my dad and you should be onboarding and you should be deploying your capital and you should be adding more. I get a lot of questions. People are like, Christopher, is 30K enough? Well, I set that minimum because I wanted everybody to get in. I wanted to democratize the ability to own the best real estate asset in the world so you could pivot, leverage, and profit from it. I didn't want to set the bar too high. Now, I had to set a minimum because I have to do that with regulations. I'm sure you guys know that. But I have to set a certain minimum based on our offering type and our regulatory filing and everything that we worked on in recent months. So there's got to be a bar. But my point is you actually should be investing more. All of you should be trying, and you should be putting 100K minimum to work. You should put 500K to work, $1 million if you can. I've got ballers, my diamond nut holders, all the way up to 1,000 units. I haven't let it go any higher than that. I've had many people ask me if they can invest more. I had a gentleman approach myself and my father actually recently wanted to bring $10 million into the project, and we told him no. And the reason is I don't want one single giant whale, dictating our project, because this is by and for the people, and the whole point of it is to democratize it. So I've been asked that too. I've had many and several actually recently, because they understand how powerful my project is and how much money it's actually making. And of course, the potential of it once we tokenize is really unlimited. So it's a sure thing, is what I'm telling you. It has capital protection. It gets your money out of the banks during a banking collapse. What banks are going down just in recent days? Well, New York Community Bank just breached the critical $5 mark in the stock market and has also been downgraded to double junk. Its bonds are double junk status. And typically when a stock breaks $5, in the stock market, it begins to get delisted and then sinks and goes to zero. And as I warned about yesterday, what I think is going to happen to New York Community Bank and many other banks like Credit Suisse, Silvergate, Silicon Valley, Citizen, I've reported and predicted all of their collapses, just like I predicted in 2008-09. So get your money out of the banks. At that time, again, guys, I've been doing this a very, very long time. My track record speaks for itself. Like, I'm not trying to give myself kudos all the time, but I'm proving a point. I've produced thousands and thousands of videos since 2008-09. I was the first mover in social media and e-commerce, and I've been proven time immemorial correct about this pathway and what's going to happen next and how they're going to engineer all this. I want you guys to profit from what's happening because it's going to be very terrible here in the United States, and there's not going to be a lot of options for ordinary people and the general middle class. I mean, look right now what's going on in Texas with these huge fires that many believe is weather warfare. We've seen this in Chile. We've seen this in Maui. We're now seeing it in Texas. We have over 1 million acres burnt. We have spy satellites in our skies that the media has failed to report on and even tell us what's going on. And I got a newsflash for you, just like I told you, and I have to say it's my opinion, but I believe it to be a fact. When the cellular networks went down several days ago, that was a result of that balloon in the sky. I believe, and I said before, they either took it down and the cellular infrastructure down. It wasn't a site upgrade, guys. They don't do upgrades on every single cellular network in America all at the same time. And they don't all randomly go down at once. It was either the U.S. government that took it down, so this spy apparatus hovering over Colorado, the U.S. Space Force is where that's located, by the way, and NORAD is located, and the U.S. Air Force and our deep underground bunker silos in preparatory areas that they don't even tell you about, and or it was a cyber event, which would be even scarier if it wasn't our own government, quite frankly. That would mean the whole system is vulnerable. You got to get your money out of the banks. It's not advice. It's what you have to do. It's what you absolutely have to do right now. Here's what's amazing. We're in an environment right now where you can easily take, in my opinion, $1,000, turn it to $1 million plus. That's 1,000x. You can take $10,000, turn it into 500K. You can take $30,000, turn it into 3 million or more. You can do that right now, and you're not going to have another opportunity to do it because things are going to be, and here's where I'm going with this. I know I've got to give you the bad news, right? I got to give you the bad news. Your general over here already knows what they're going to do. I already know what they're going to do, guys. And so I'll tell you live on this broadcast, and this is why you need to pivot, leverage, profit now. It's why you need to get into my project today. And call Papa John at 808-442-2934 and or fill out an app. It's a 5-minute app, so easy. You can fund in crypto direct. I had two new members come in, fund crypto last night. Welcome aboard. One funded Ethereum and USDC. The other funded Bitcoin. Because they know, like I do, we all know we're going into this parabola now. It's going to be, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be fun. I mean, it's fun making money. It's fun being successful. It's fun being right, guys. It's fun dominating. I always tell you, play to win. Play to be the All-American. Play for the victory. But here's the bad news. The elites are now going to pump the entire financial system, just like the stock market's on the verge of collapse right now. NASDAQ, all-time highs. S&P 500, all-time highs. Dow Jones, all-time highs. Whole thing's about to pop. The stock market's going to pop. And what they're doing is they're putting that money into crypto, Bitcoin, and blockchain, and tokenized assets like ours, where all the money and wealth is going to. People ask me, well, Christopher, what's going to happen to crypto if the stock market collapses? It's going to go right here. This is where it's all going. This is why I designed the project. I designed it for this actual transition and this physical reset into the new model. This is what this is. It's why I built it, along with my team and my beautiful, handsome father with his amazing, genuine, very conservative, old school mustache. I mean, how do you not love this guy? Like, he's freaking amazing, dude. Like, I love you, Dad. You're like the coolest guy, and you're very handsome. You're amazing. You're Papa John. I mean, come on. Papa John, dude. You're the best. You're the best, my man. And so where's the bad news? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to pop the stock market, close the banking system, do the capital controls, do the CBDCs, etc. But here's the drum roll. Dun, dun, dun. They're taking you to war. They're taking you to war, and that's how they're going to snuff out the biggest pump that we've ever seen in crypto in world history. And they're not going to do it right away. They're going to allow this to pump because they need to pump their own bags. You do realize this. The insiders on Wall Street, Nancy Pelosi, these thugs, they've got to pump their own assets first because they're just worried about, they're as worried about economic collapse, if not more than you are. That's my point. Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, the list goes on and on. They're actually more worried, Zuckerberg, about economic financial collapse than you are. And so they've got to pump their bags first because they got to take as much money, wealth, power, and control away from the general population, you first. Then they'll pull the card. They're going to pull that Joker card. And that Joker card is war. So what I think is going to happen, I believe Altseason has already started. We're not waiting for it. It's the beginning. But it's only an early sign of how crazy this is going to get because we're not even in the halving yet. Okay, we're just getting into March. We're not even in April. And historically, every 4 years, we look at history, what happens to Bitcoin during the halving and after the halving and through the halving, it pumps to new all-time highs, usually goes a 2 to 5x based on historical precedent. That means all the altcoins like XTZ that I'm telling you to onboard now go 100x. They might go 1,000x. Like, look at XTZ, for example. A lot of you don't know it. It owns its foundation, Tasos, because I've been an investor for years. This is not like a new investment for me. I've added more to my position very aggressively recently. Full disclosure, because I know it's about to pump. But like, I've been in Tasos for, years now. Strong foundation. And a lot of you don't know that Tasos is also a play on Bitcoin. They still own like 16, 17,000 plus Bitcoin. So they're holding on their balance sheet over $1 billion plus. That's 9 digits after a 1 of Bitcoin. A lot of you don't know that. This is the most like amazing opportunity right now in the crypto. And that's the freebie. I'm giving you guys the freebie. I just posted a testimonial earlier today. Someone said, Christopher, I'm up like 30, 40% since your video February 7th or something like that. And thank you so much. He says, I know it's going higher, but I just want to thank you for the gimme and the freebie. Well, you're welcome. It's an honor. I want you guys to make money. That's why I'm here. I'm here so you guys make money. Shout out, by the way, to the Jesus community. Up 50% yesterday, 40, 50%. Congratulations. I'm here to help you guys make money, make these gains. Shout out to Jesus as well. This is where it's going. So this is the biggest wealth transfer, bigger than the dot-coms. And I'm personally excited because I was too young to participate in the dot-coms. I knew the internet was going to be massive, but I was just a kid. I didn't have any money to invest. Right? I was the nerd on Prodigy and AOL and BBSing. I built bulletin board services with my friends in the early days before the internet even started. I brokered the deal through a Dutch auction and sold the Google IPO. I was in my 20s then when I graduated top of my class, and of course I worked at Merrill Lynch. I was the highest paid young executive that was hired to the firm at the time. But back to the dot-coms, like I knew the internet was going to be massive on that first crazy bull market bull run, but I was too young to participate in it. And it always pissed me off because even then, when I was in my early teens, I'm like, bro, man, I would have made so much money and I would have known, what assets to buy, when to sell, how to pivot, leverage, and profit. Now, I've been able to do that, all glory to God, with Bitcoin, with social media, with AMTV, with the Island Project, which is still super early. I mean, we just started this 15 months ago. People ask me, Christopher, what's the next Bitcoin? This is islandproject.com. This is the asset you get into to make your first $1 million plus potentially in this bull market. And it's the easiest way to do it. And here's why. There's capital protection. When you deploy 100K or 30K or 250K or 500K or whatever it is to islandproject.com, we have a 30-unit minimum. You have capital protection of a no bank debt asset, a diversified portfolio that's appraised every year. People ask me, well, Christopher, how do you value the portfolio on an ongoing basis. Well, every year we have independent appraisers come out and they value our $33.5 million no bank debt portfolio as it grows. And they evaluate, what is the appraised value of each property? What is it worth based on its location? Which, by the way, our aggregate portfolio is worth a lot more than an individual individual property that maybe you could buy on your own. And the reason is we have a lot of people that want to buy our asset, even now. And my dad and I aren't going to do that. We don't want to do that. But there's a strong likelihood in the future that there will be other buyers because we've already done all the heavy lifting and hard work for you, along with our members. When we've built out our portfolio, we get an offer for a $1.5 billion acquisition. Or even a portion of the portfolio, someone wants to buy it because they want all of our assets. Or they want a slice of it. Maybe they want to buy 25% of the island project for $500 million in the future. And then they'll buy, 7 of the properties, but we own 100 plus in the portfolio by then. So we have so many options in the future. It's gnarly really to think about how powerful what it is we're building. But the point is, from your perspective, because people ask me about, well, what's the risk? Well, there's risk in all investments, but there's really no risk. When you buy a crypto, even Tasos, which I love, okay, it's not doesn't have an appraised value. It's not backed by a physical product. So when you deploy capital into the island project, you really can't lose. At the very least, you're making consistent income, 8, 15% yield based on our property portfolio and the daily cash flows in Oahu and Maui and soon to be other islands, and diversifying into Park City, Utah. I've announced that. I'm looking at international exposure in both Dubai, Thailand, and some other places that I'm not going to name yet because I want to keep it a secret, which I'll only disclose to our members. I do have a newsletter actually going out to all of our members. It should come out this week, and I've just been super busy. We've been closing on the new property. I've been, shooting all types of content. I've been working with all of you guys on the phone at school, of course, and getting you ready for this bull market. But my point is, the beauty of what we're doing is not only is it the easiest way to make your first $1 million, but you also have capital preservation and protection. So 3 years from now, let's say you want to sell your island project units. Let's say you bought 30K, and 3 years from now, that's worth 100K based on the appraised value of the portfolio. You can sell and or transfer your units. And we will have a marketplace available for you to do that. Either my company will buy it, myself or my father, because we want your units. We want the equity. That's what they do in the stock market. You buy your own shares when you believe in it. Warren Buffett buys his own shares. They're called share buybacks. This is what we see in big tech. And or you sell it to a third party or another investor that will buy your appraised value of your units. In the meantime, you got paid income the whole time. You've got a potentially large capital gain. You have an ecosystem available to you, which includes about 25, 30% of the year our properties open to member investors where you can stay at them, touch at them. Instead of wasting your money at a worthless Airbnb that hates your guts, okay, or a hotel, and you just get hosed $1,000 a night or $2,000 a night, you never get anything back in return, you can actually stay at your physical investment. I do have several members now that have bumped up into the 500K and the 1,000 unit level, which puts them at $1 million, which is giving them more time and access to the portfolio as well. So that's an option for a lot of you too. And we've put together several different groups like that already where, let's say you like spending time in Hawaii. Well, we can place you guys at the host of properties where you get 30 days. You're gonna get 30 days a year and you don't have to pay for it because you're already an investor in our project, and that's valuable. Your money is true 100% equity ownership, and you can utilize it. But here's where it gets even crazier, and this is why even our minimum investors, and I love you all, no matter where you are, money is just a tool. It doesn't matter. You're not valued by your net worth statement. Nobody cares, okay? But my point is, what's amazing for our minimum investors, you at 30K, and you should add more, and you can always DCA to beef up your positions, which you should be doing now, is when we tokenize, that major liquidity event is going to be a huge number. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what the value is going to be. I can't predict that. But I am betting that a $33.5 million proof of concept cash flow portfolio of beach and oceanfront homes right on the water in the best location in the world will tokenize to a huge number. So is that number going to be, 350 million? Is it going to be a billion? Is it going to be 10 billion? Will it be 50 billion, 100 billion? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, meme tokens like Floki are, trading at hundreds of millions of dollars of valuation, and it's thin air. It's not even anything real. You've got Dogecoin pumping like 30% even today. And it's backed by nothing, guys. Absolutely nothing. So my point is, if you want a sure thing, we are the sure thing. It's like looking at a hot chick. She's a 10 out of 10. She's beautiful. She's a Christian. She wants to raise a family. She's a great cook. She's smart. She was good or great in the career world. She's got it all. She's the full package. She's sexy. You're just like, darn, man. You're like a 10 out of 10. That's what theislandproject.com is. It's really that freaking easy, guys. I've designed the easiest way for all of you to 1000x, to pivot, leverage, and profit, to have utility, an amazing ecosystem, and have a blast. Like, why not have fun while we're doing this, which is what we're doing. That's what I've built. I've got dozens of Jeeps at all locations that are dedicated on reserve. These are $70,000, plus trucks. Some of them are lifted. You can off-road all over the islands. They're parked right at your property on every single condo. Probably going to put in some supercars actually soon, because I keep getting so much feedback. Christopher, we need more Lambos and we need more Ferraris. Cool, I'll do it. I'll do anything you guys want, man. You guys want yachts? You want our own private ship? You want boats? You want air travel? I've been working on all of this in recent years, brokering deals on your behalf. A lot of my Australian investors, you out in Australia, out there, put a shrimp on the Barbie, out in Australia have also said, Christopher, we want you to buy in not only Thailand, but pick up some property in Bali, because it's easier for people to get over from that neck of the world. So I'll be looking at that as well. My point is, mate, we're having a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun too. It's not all bad out there. Like, you're gonna make it, guys, if you believe in yourself. Procrastination is actually just based on your own fear. Have you ever found yourself procrastinating and you're not sure why? Like, maybe you're studying for an exam if you're younger, or it could just be procrastinating on starting the business that you've wanted to start, or take the vacation that you wanted, or ask the girl or the guy out that you're really attracted to. Whatever it might be. It could be dating, relationship, financial. You're only procrastinating because you're actually fearful. You're fearful of the outcome. You're fearful she might say no. Many of you are actually fearful you're going to make your first $1 million. Like, honestly, I'm telling you straight up to your face, many of you are terrified of making money. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. And I'm telling you, it's not a big deal. Let me help you with this. Let me help you make your first $1 million in 2024 at islandproject.com. Please, for the love of you know what, let me help you. Because many of you are absolutely terrified about taking a risk on yourself, and you're even more terrified of the success. And the reason is, the success means, you're now responsible for yourself, and you're going to be responsible for other people, and you're going to have to protect your asset and protect your investment. It's much more stressful to be wealthy, and take it from a guy who's been blessed by this and has a lot of resources and assets all given by God. It's actually more stressful having money, guys, than it is to be completely broke and just like, well, I'm broke. And by the way, if you're broke, you have a strategic advantage because there's only upside. You have nothing to lose. What are you going to do? Like, dig yourself into a hole of being more broke? You can only be at one level of broke, but you can be at many different levels of wealth. 1 million, 10, 100 million, a billion, a trillion. And the first trillionaire actually will be minted in crypto. I really believe this to be the case, and I've said this for going on years. So here's my point. Don't be afraid of your own success. Embrace it. Don't be scared about taking a very small risk today, betting on yourself, going all in, and deciding, you know what, Christopher's right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this action. I'm going to see if it's right for me. I'm going to call his dad, Papa John, at 808-442-2934. Leave a voicemail because he's getting pounded by calls. Send him a text. You can also just fund directly. If you want to move past all that, I still have to review it and approve you. Just go to our portal at the membership tab at islandproject.com. Click the tab, fill out a 5-minute app. You don't have to be accredited. Don't get, worried about that. You can be a non-accredited person, a normal person. We are the Robin Hood of investing. Get in and fund directly. You can do it with crypto. We prefer it. You can do ACH. You can do a manual wire transfer. You can also even put a portion on a credit card if you want to do it today. And that's the easiest way to become a millionaire in 2024. So let's take a look here. I'll just kind of do a crypto overview. God bless all of you tuning in. I hope I'm making my point today, though. I hope you understand. I hope you get it, because you're not going to have a lot of time left. Guys, Bitcoin is already at 62K. It's already at 62K. Use that as an indicator. And I'll tell you this too, because I had a couple calls like this from a wonderful Christian man actually yesterday. What a beautiful guy who's dedicated most of his life to service of the Lord, which I thanked him profusely for his work. And he's actually a baller too. God's gifted him a lot too. He owns like a lot of Bitcoin, like a lot. I was impressed. And he was asking me, he's like, Christopher, when do you think a good time will be to take profits? Well, I said, if you're already up, big in certain positions, take some profits now. Make sure you secure yourself in the project because you're going to miss it. I can't fund anymore after the 33.5 million units are sold. So just make sure you get in. And then I told him what you can do is then DCA in to the project. Use Bitcoin as like a 100K indicator because that's the top baller asset. And all the altcoins will pump in Altseason like they're doing now. And that'll be when you're kind of getting into the mania. So once we break 100K, that'll be the start of the mania. And then it's kind of like, who knows how high, how far, how crazy it's going to get. I think there's going to be 10, 100Xs in single days. Just like we're starting to see, 50% green candles on a regular basis across the spectrum. I think Tasos will have a 50 to 100% green candle. Could even be today. Like, I even had a couple people ask me about it. Like, well, Christopher, what do we do? Should we set targets? I'm like, honestly, don't set any targets. Just let it ride right now because it's going to move more aggressively than you think. The last thing you want to do is, set a target for a 2X and then have it 10X on you, which I believe it's going to do in the blink of an eye. So you're really just kind of like holding right now and enjoying the ride, and you're buying, and you're getting into our project and the sure thing. Also, I'll tell all of you out there too, like I've got a lot of you that you just don't understand crypto. It's too hard. I get it. Maybe you don't want to learn all these things. That's the beauty of islandproject.com because we turnkey all of it for you. This gives you massive crypto exposure with very little risk on a physical asset that you own outright with 100% true equity, predictable cash flows, long-term gains, and we're tokenizing all of it on a blockchain, which gives you that unlimited 1000X potential. And you don't have to do any of it. The minute you fund with myself and my father and my amazing team at islandproject.com, you don't have to worry about anything because we're doing it all for you as professional management. Along with our team, we're doing the heavy lifting. I even had someone ask, like, well, Christopher, what's in it for you in this early stage? Honestly, not a lot. We're working on your behalf. We're working our butts off right now. As many of you know, when you start a new business, you start a new enterprise, mostly it's your own capital going into the project, your own time, and your own energy. See, I didn't build Island Project. Of course, I'm incentivized, just like any good manager would be. But I'm incentivized for the long-term success of the project. Like my father and I are looking out decades. I'm looking out multi-generationally and from a legacy standpoint, like not just tomorrow. And that's my point. So like, honestly, when people ask me that question, like what's in it for you in the early stages? Well, I mean, number one, we're having a blast. We're building an amazing project, but we're actually putting in more work, time, energy, and financial capital ourselves. my father and I and the rest of my team and my family then were really getting anything in return, because this is the hard work part. This is the heavy lifting. This is the rocky moment. This is when we're snagging the deals. This is when we're raising capital. This is when we're, building spec homes. This is when we're, deploying the assets. Like, this is the hard part, actually. This is how I became a Division I All-American in water polo, for example. I had no experience as a swimmer, although I liked to swim as a kid. And I was, varsity lettered as a sophomore. And then I went on as a Division I All-American, played NCAA ball, D1, started as a freshman. I always like to share that story, because what I learned from sports was that it was those early formational years which really made me strong in the future. It wasn't like you get strong right away. It takes a long time to build yourself up. And so I want you guys to have a lens too, a legacy lens. Think about what that looks like. Some of you want to retire in the future, go for it. I think you'll be able to retire on islandproject.com. Many of you say, I want to buy my own properties in addition to the project. I believe you will be able to do that. You will be able to sell your multi-million-dollar asset here in the future, a portion of it, let the rest ride into the future as a legacy asset, and buy your own beachfront home. And I want that for you. And my father will tell you that too. I believe you'll be able to do that. Many of you say, Christopher, I want to start my own business. I believe you will do that this year in 2024. As a result, many of you will make your first $1 million this year. It's going to happen. And so I really want you changing your mindset right now. Of course, I can't, predict the future. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But here's what I will tell you. When you change your mindset and you make a physical, transitory, in reality commitment, there is an energy transition that happens as a part of your brain, but it's actually put into the world energetically. This is actually the secret. It's the secret to my success that I tell you a lot about. Think and Grow Bitcoin Rich. Think and Grow islandproject.com rich. The minute you put it out there and you've committed fully 100%, like, I want you to think about it like this. You just landed, okay? You just landed onto a brand new land. You see this beautiful island in front of you. Go all into it and burn the ships behind you. In fact, with military strategy, they actually used to do this. When people were invading like foreign nation states and going to war, the general would actually burn his ships sometimes and send his troops out to fight. So they knew they couldn't turn back. So they knew with 100% conviction they had to win, that they needed a victory because there was no going back. The ships were burnt to the ground. And it always worked. Amazing, right? Even, I'll tell you another story. When Christopher Columbus was sailing to the new free world, there were moments when he really had no idea if they were going the right direction. But he never showed that. Because again, when you made the mental, faithful bet on yourself, and he knew he would land. He knew it was in God's hand and he was going to hit land. He might not always know the specifics or exactly how it's going to work out. And see, this is what a lot of you are afraid of. Many of you in your walk of entrepreneurship, or you don't have to be an entrepreneur, you might work for a great company and you're moving up the ladder and you're getting raises and you're creating more value for yourself and the people that you work for. That's amazing too. But many of you are afraid of those uncertain moments where you can't quite predict where it's going, and sometimes you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel. Every single moment that happens, because I've learned this as I've gotten older. It took me a while to learn this myself. But I learned that it's actually in those moments where you go down even harder with your conviction bets. You dig in and work harder. You actually bet more. You invest more. You put more money to work, more energy to work, more conviction to work. And every single time, I'll just speak for myself, that I've done that, it has paid 1,000x reward dividends beyond my wildest dreams, just like it is doing now. With Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain, XTZ, islandproject.com, Jesus Coin, the hosts of our portfolio investments and everything we're building. And you know what? That is super rewarding. So let me give you this idea here, because I want you guys to feel like what I do right now. And all of you will enjoy this in 2024 if you're betting on yourself. I want you to understand that the greatness in that will not be your balance sheet. It will be how good you feel about yourself. And one of the greatest feelings that you can ever have is it to know how hard you're willing to work, that you're convicted, even when other people aren't, and that even when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, your faith is so impenetrable and strong that you always give it to God. And that you've built through trial and tribulation and the hard work, the confidence that you know you can do it. Let me give you another example. Like, here's what I'm trying to say. It's like if you're given all of your money, your parents are rich, and they just give you a blank check. They're like, here's $100 million. That does not build confidence in a young man or a young woman. That is like wrong, in my opinion. That doesn't teach them anything. It doesn't teach them how to make money. It potentially makes them arrogant, non-understanding of how the real world works, what it really takes to be successful. Doesn't give them real confidence, courage. Those are things that are bigger than money. Like those confidence builds, that faith is bigger than the balance sheet or what your net worth is. And it's irreplaceable. And that's actually what I really think you guys should be seeking. I think that you should be seeking success in that way. I think that you should be seeking empowerment by knowing you can do it, feeling good about yourself, being the best human being that you can be, being the person that's serving your communities and families and the Lord and Christ, and building amazing things, and being the person in a position of strength that when other people need a helping hand, you lift them up. Just like the amazing gentleman who's an investor in my project, soon to be adding a lot of units. He's been very blessed as well, has been a missionary his entire life. He didn't choose business. His business was saving souls. You can't replace that feeling. At the end of the day, when you're done and you're lying on your deathbed, you're not going to say, man, I wish my balance sheet was bigger and that, instead of $10 million, I was worth $100 million. You're not going to care. What you're going to care about is your family, your friends, your faith, the Lord, your convictions, your knowing that you gave it your all. And so my motivation for all of you guys today is I want you to give it your all. This is your moment to dominate. This is your moment. Today is your success train. Today is the day you make the decision to get into islandproject.com right now. Today is the day you call my dad at 808-442-2934 and tell him, John, I'm committed to my success today. I'm getting in. Today is your moment because tomorrow might not be. Tomorrow might not even come. The day after that, there might not be the opportunity. The day after that, the girl you failed to ask out, who could have been your wife, she left. Someone else asked her out. You missed it. It's gone. You're reading headlines next week on CNBC.com. Christopher Greene, the general, was right again. XTZ's up 10x. Bitcoin soars to 100K. And you think, man, I missed it again. What if I would have bet on myself and gone all in? How different could my life have been? So I just want to encourage you guys today. Be the baller. This is what 1000X stands for right here. It's why I built it. You want to make your first million in 2024. This is the easiest pathway. Links below. I'll add them in a moment. Call my dad. Roll over your IRAs. Roll over your retirement accounts. Roll over your 401ks. You can do that through our preferred partners. We've got several of them. They're great. We have been using Preferred Trust now for about a year and a half. We've gotten good reviews. Also Equity Trust, and there's one other, ask my dad about. He can help you just move over, have complete control, faith and conviction in what you're doing, having the peace of mind your money's out of the banks and a real asset, has an appreciable, appraised value. It's also being tokenized. You don't have to worry about anything. It's totally turnkey. And for you baby boomers out there, and for your seniors out there, I've got tons of youth in my project as well, of course. But for those of you that are older, that don't have the time and don't even want to learn, I'm encouraging you to just turnkey your investment today and let us do it for you. If you believe in me, here's the bottom line. If you've been following me for decades, you believe in me. You believe in my team. you believe in my father, John Greene, you're a buyer of this. Bottom freaking line. And as you've seen us prove our concept with a proof of work, 3 properties owned, $11 million now deployed, ladies and gentlemen, soon to be $33.5 million. A massive fundraise. We launched during a bear market, and I did that strategically because I knew we would be exactly here at precisely the right time, that God would work it out, and we'd be right here breaking and eclipsing new all-time highs on the success train, and I'd be making all of my members rich with the digital Noah's Ark during an economic financial collapse, during bank runs, hyperinflation, and World War III. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm telling you, this is why you need to onboard now as well, because they're going to pull this plug at some point. It's going to be like a bathtub, and the water's just kind of going straight down. They're going to allow this pump for a while. It's going to be a while. It's going to be the most magnificent, hyper, parabolic pump we've ever seen. Bigger than the dot-coms. And then we saw what happened to the internet. The huge companies, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Facebook, all became the oligopolists. And this is why we've positioned early for all of you, because we're going to be massive. This is a multi-billion-dollar plus investment in the future, guys. That's easy. The real estate market's a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. We're the first to tokenize it and fractionalize it. You don't think that's going to $1 billion? Of course it is. But the elites will pull the plug at some point. And I think they'll pull it even in 2024. Maybe we get to 2025. I don't know. I'm not God. But after these 100x, 1000x gains that are coming, you want to profit from all of it. Just like they do. They're concerned that they need to do it for themselves. This is why they're going to pump it. BlackRock has to pump its own bags. It's a guarantee, guys. They always win. They're going to pump their own bags. This is how you know. It's a sure thing. The hedge funds always win. Wall Street always wins. Everything's rigged, and you need to understand this. The bailouts, they make all the rules. They're going to reset the system. They'll do whatever they want. But they'll pull the plug at some point. And this is why you want to be in this. Because this is the best asset to be in. It's physical. It's real. There's no bank debt. It's 100% equity. It's an ecosystem. It's diversified. It's true ownership. And it's also being tokenized. And we're going to be able to profit from that, from any future bear markets as well, honestly, immensely. The Island Project will do better in a bear market than it actually does in bull markets, in my humble opinion, because that's where the value centers are created. That's when we're going to be able to really come in like sharks and, pick up these $30 million beachfront homes for 20 or 15 that'll be worth $100 million in our lifetimes. And I'm looking forward to that. And I've positioned it because you've heard this before. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Like I could easily 100x our portfolio now by taking on debt, but I'm not going to do it. I made a conscious decision not to do it. Number one, I heard it from the Lord, and I know it's not true ownership. I know that if you have a mortgage, you don't really own anything. And because of the banking risk and the economic collapse that we're living through now and all the hyperinflation and the bank failures, I knew that that's just a risk that we can't take. And it's why we have no debt. And keep this in mind. If you're investing with others and you're carrying your mortgage, you're going to be in trouble in the future. You're going to see defaults, commercial defaults. We've seen this with Evergrande, the Chinese commercial events that are currently taking place. You're going to see it in America. So you don't want leverage. You don't want it. You'll screw yourself. And this is why we truly are the foundation built in rock. We are the foundation built in stone. We are the Lamborghini. We are the Ferrari of real estate. And we have no bank debt because I already know what's coming, and it is my job to protect all of you and make you rich as your 1000x general here. Tasos, tell you Bezos. Tasos, tell you Bezos. Tasos, tell you Bezos, baby! Those are freaking like me!